Hi, and welcome to Help Your Kids podcast. My name is Dr. Mish, and I'm a psychotherapist, a coach, and I'm also a lecturer in child and adolescent mental health.
Yeah, so I'm Shelley Smith. I'm also a psychotherapist and supervisor and also visiting lecturer.
And this podcast is all about how you can help your kids. And my co-host and I do it from a position of being parents, but we're also therapists.
It's just great to now develop our support services for parents and to have this Help Your Kids podcast, which we're really proud of.
Yeah. This is episode 4.
Yeah.
Season 2.
Season 2, episode 4.
So, yeah. Can you believe we've done all of these now? That's amazing.
I know.
And I hopefully
2
can do some
series.
more.
Yeah.
And thanks once again to Spoonful of Sugar.
Yeah, for our
Or-
funding to
yeah.
make this happen.
Yeah, it's we really, really appreciate it. And if any of these have helped you as a parent, please let us know. Hopefully,
Yeah, it'd be great
there'll
to hear from you.
Yeah, the odd tip here and
Yeah.
there, or just knowing that you're not alone in it can be really important. But this time we're going to talk about body image.
We are.
How to help your kids with body image. That's a tricky one. And when we were prepping for this, we were getting into all sorts of feminist thinking and
Different
And-
conversations
Oh.
and different ways of looking at things.
yeah. So in terms of what we want to do is help from this episode is help parents understand how they can reduce some of the shame around body image and look at being respectful to developing that in your kids.
Yeah.
And the sorts of things, kind of what to say when you hear your child talking about themselves, and also how it resonates with you.
Yeah. And also I think it's having confidence in, again, having those conversations, isn't it? Because everyone will have their own association with their body
Yeah,
and their, messages given to them growing up
yeah,
from society, from other people, their own internal voice.
yeah. It's a really tricky area, I think, and particularly as females, I imagine we'd have a slightly different take if we were males sat here.
Yeah.
I wonder how different that
It'd
that
be
would
really
be.
interesting to have that, wouldn't it? Because we were saying that, body image is something that can crop up with all different ages, boys, girls.
Yeah,
And it can be something that, again, is down to the expectation at school, peer pressure, comparison on social media,
yeah,
what people feel they should look like,
yeah,
not necessarily what they want to look like.
yeah. There's a whole. I mean, it's a bit. Yeah, there's so much that comes into it, and essentially, particularly with teens, in terms of when they go through puberty, how your body changes, and then that can give a whole different
Yeah.
element to things of whether it's changing too quickly, not
Yeah.
enough,
Yeah.
people at different stages.
Yeah, and feeling different on different days.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe seeing friends change the way they look.
Yeah.
And, what their expectations on themselves. They might change their hairstyle to fit in with the norm or their clothes. And you might not be at that same stage, and that can really feel quite difficult sometimes.
Yeah.
Again, people might be thinking, I've got to have this bag, because if you don't have that bag, you're going to be bullied.
Yeah, I've
Or
got to
if
wear
you
these
don't
type of shoes, or I've got to.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's massive, isn't it?
Yeah, it's huge. It's huge. And often I think that parents can fall into the trap of minimising how their child will feel about themselves. So they say, like, oh, don't be silly.
Yeah.
Oh, you've got nothing to worry about, or you're.
Yeah, you're so beautiful, or you're so
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, although that's the kind of over reassuring
Yeah.
trap, isn't it? When they go, yeah, oh, you're so, but you're beautiful, and it doesn't land how you'd hope it would land. You think you're saying the right thing, but your child just isn't hearing it at all.
Yeah, and I suppose it's similar to when we've spoke about anxiety before. If a child is trying to tell you how they feel, we might say, "Oh, don't feel like that. Don't be
Mm.
sad. Don't worry. Everything's going to be fine." Or
Yeah.
"Don't you're beautiful. You're lovely. You don't need to worry about it." But if it is a valid worry,
Yeah.
it's trying to understand. Well, what makes you feel like that?
Mm.
Is that something that you feel like every day? Is that in certain situations, so you can really understand
Yeah.
what it is that's obviously on their mind and what their association with their body or their image is.
Yeah. And I think it's not always easy for parents because of our own stuff that we
Yeah,
have about
definitely.
how we look. And one of the things
Yeah.
that that we found really interesting when we're
Really
thinking about
interesting.
this topic
Mm.
was when we looked back at the first season of this podcast,
Yeah.
how hypercritical we were of how we looked.
Instantly.
Like,
So instantly.
it was the first thing we messaged each
And we
other
were like, "Have
about.
you seen my side profile?" And it was because you don't see a side profile.
Yeah,
And it was that instant thing, wasn't it, of being critical and kind of going, "Have you
awful.
se I look like this, or you look like," we were both and
Yeah,
we were both reassuring each other, "No, you don't. No, you look lovely." But there was something that we instantly were drawn to that was
instantly.
like, "Oh my goodness."
Yeah, and it was very interesting because in a way it discounted all of the whole reason for us doing
Yeah,
this sort of thing
exactly.
is to power through
Yeah.
that kind of self-critical. We were saying about parenting and you're trying your best and be kind to
Don't be
yourselves.
hard on
And
yourself.
we were being so
Yeah,
unkind about how we
yeah,
looked. So
absolutely. And it's good
definitely not going to do that this
No,
time.
and it's good to catch it though, isn't it? Like to catch it and to keep it in check to go, actually, what's it matter?
Yeah,
The whole purpose is to support people, like you're saying. You don't want to dismiss that because
yeah,
of one thought
because of
or,
one side
yeah, or
profile.
one, exactly. So we've got more cameras
I
now,
know,
we've
and
got
this is
more
the joy.
profiles.
More cameras, more HD.
But it's all the truth, it's all
This is it. This is
transparency.
it. But yeah, it was really interesting for us to be so focused, and we both spoke negatively about
Yeah,
ourselves.
yeah,
And this is us as like adults. We're reasonably well balanced. I
yeah.
mean,
We hope so.
all right. um, but how easy it was to slip into that
Yeah,
hypercritical about how we look.
yeah.
And there's something around the conditioning of that
Mm,
as a female. And we know that still happens for
mhm,
young females as well. But the kind of, it was just too easy.
mm.
It was so easy to just,
Yeah, it's just like you fall into that pattern.
yeah.
And I'm just wondering what's our thought process around that critical thought that we had, or whether that's like fear of judgment from others
Mm,
or our own negative thoughts, or,
yeah.
there's
Yeah.
so many things that play out.
And it shows you that, because actually, in terms of my own self image, I actually feel mostly all right
Yeah,
with
yeah,
myself.
yeah.
I'm like, I'm all right.
Mm,
Everything works.
yeah.
I've managed to push children out.
Yeah.
you know, I've
And
I've
walk
I
and
can
dance
move,
and
I can,
exactly.
yeah, my body does what I need it to
Mm,
do. And yet it was so easy to
mm,
slip into
yeah.
that trap. And um, I think if it's easy for someone like me who's very body positive, it must be really difficult for
Yeah.
people who are already being mean
Mm,
about themselves,
yeah.
already have a low sense of self-esteem.
Yeah, absolutely. Because I think, again, one of the things that plays a part is your emotions and how you
Mm.
feel. Because we might all have those days where you might put something on and look in the mirror and think, oh, yeah, I like this.
Yeah,
But then maybe if you're emotionally not in the same place, or
yeah,
maybe you're struggling, or you feel more lower, or you feel criticized, your whole association with yourself may change
yeah,
dependent on how you feel.
yeah, yeah. And so, in terms of young people, um, what do you think is a like a prime age for change for
Mm.
them? What in your experience, what has been the
I mean, I
thing that you've
think
noticed?
I think secondary school is a big with that transition from
Yeah.
being at primary school to secondary school. I know we said before, but this tier system of where do you fit? Are you going to be in the popular part? Are you going to be feel like you're in the middle? Are you trying to get on with people? And it's so hard, isn't it? Because again, you've got hairstyles, you've got,
Yeah.
like we said, like bags, trainers,
Yeah.
makeup, phones, everything else that you feel like in order to fit, you've got to have these certain things. But I think I see a shift where it's like, say 7 or 8, age 7 or 8, I see that there's a shift there
Yeah.
where maybe children are kind of becoming aware of appearance, maybe watching more things on TV, movies, YouTube, that type of thing, aspiring to be older than
Yeah.
they are. That's a very common thing. Feeling like they've got to wear certain makeup or have their hair a certain way. And then I think again, 13, 14, and I think maybe a bit younger for girls, but boys, particularly like 14, 13, 14. I
Yeah.
think again, you've got puberty, you've got that teenage brain, you've got
Mhm.
their own kind of sense of self
Yeah.
and self-esteem, and maybe do I fit? So
Yeah.
yeah, I think they're kind of the hotspot areas, I think.
Yeah, definitely. And I think it's really important for us to acknowledge that, we're sitting here as females with that female perspective,
Mm.
and actually for young males as well, it's
Yeah,
definitely gotten worse for young males.
yeah.
The thing that I've seen that's happening a lot is young males going to the gym
Mm.
a lot more
Yeah,
and wanting a kind of physique that is at the real end of like that hyper
mm,
masculinity,
yeah,
massive muscles, look like they're carrying carpets
yeah, yeah,
kind of walk,
yeah, yeah,
that sort of
yeah,
thing. That there seems to be a real pull towards that, and of course that's now creating. There's a whole industry around it. There's
yeah,
all different protein drinks and
mm,
muscle mass drinks and
yeah.
all these different things that much younger, like early teens,
Mm.
are starting to be hyper conscious of.
Yeah, and I think it's getting that balance because again, you've got young people who do maybe want to have smoothies and, kind of different, I don't know, like different breakfast fruit, yogurts,
Yeah.
things like that, because it's kind of Instagram worthy and things
Yes.
like that.
Yeah.
And that's getting a balance, isn't it, between, oh, that's really healthy and that's what I want to do versus where does it maybe tip over into something that becomes more of like an obsessive behavior or
Yeah.
something that's more driven by needing to look a certain way.
Yeah. And I think you've highlighted there, particularly around the food that is eaten at home, is what for parents, what are your food rules?
Yeah.
What are
Yeah.
the things that you have declared as that's what you do in your
Mm.
family? We
Yeah.
always eat this, or we always have this, or is there cultural things around certain foods that are eaten or not eaten, um, and the different weight, for want of a better word, the weighting that we put on
Yeah.
whether a food is good or
All bad.
bad, and in what quantity is
Mm.
that.
Yeah.
So there's all sorts of things that I think as parents we can be aware of how we talk about the food that we're having. What is a treat? How do we define
Mm.
that? What might that be passing on to our kids as how
Yeah.
they will develop their own relationship
Mm.
with food?
Yeah, and what are they listening to? The way we
Yeah.
talk about food, if you're having people over, how are you talking about the quantity of food or
Hmm.
what types of food? Whether,
Yeah.
people might be saying, oh, well, if I eat that today, I'm going to have to do this exercise tomorrow or
Yes.
later, or I
Yeah.
won't be able to have this tomorrow because I've had it today,
Yeah.
and all of that
So the
is,
kind of bargaining around it.
yeah,
If I have this, then
exactly.
I can't have that.
Yeah.
And of course, what we know is there's a lot of culture. So particularly in my family, the kind of culture around food is that it is something that we all can join in together, and there's certain points of the year that are quite celebratory
Yeah.
for food, and that's a lovely thing.
Yeah.
Um, but certainly the Trinidad culture is there's a lot of food.
Mm.
So um, you do kind of, it's like what are our messages that we're giving
Yeah.
around
Yeah.
food? So I'd encourage parents
Mm. To
to
think about,
think of
yeah.
of what are you saying? What are the conversations? How are you bargaining? And also the idea of how you talk about yourself as well,
Yeah.
um, particularly as females, how you talk
Mm.
about yourself and your body and your relationship with food and relationship with your body image, how that then gets modelled
Yeah.
to your children
Yeah.
at whatever age.
Exactly, because I'm just thinking about, if you have those times where you think, I'm going to eat a bit healthier, I'm going to start jogging, I'm going to do some exercise. And your children may hear that and think, well, I should be doing that. If you're
Yeah.
doing that, that means you've got to change. That means I've got to change. But it's about the language around why you're doing it. If you're doing it because you enjoy that exercise
Mm.
or you enjoy that food or,
Yeah.
it's about your overall well-being, then that's good modeling, isn't it? But again,
Yeah.
it's getting that balance so it doesn't feel like you're going into that comparison over you should look like this, you shouldn't look like this, you should be doing this.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you were saying about the gym, I see that a lot, especially, I mean, young females and young
Yeah.
men.
Yeah.
That it's almost like it is like that sense of belonging again that they get there, but it's then maybe comparison that takes place within the group
Yeah,
can be
yeah.
tricky.
How, particularly for a lot of young males, it's like how much bigger can you get?
Yeah,
And often for females, it's
how much
getting
smaller.
smaller.
Yeah, yeah.
I think I've consciously made a decision to talk about strength,
Mm.
particularly in
Yeah,
regards to female bodies.
yeah.
Um, so if you want to do that sport,
Mm.
food is fuel, and therefore it can enable your muscles to be strong so that you
Yeah.
can do that activity or that.
Yeah.
So I've tried to do it in that way. I'm not saying I've,
Mm.
I've got that right,
No,
but
but it's good to kind of even have that concept, isn't it, of
yeah,
appreciating your body
yes,
and fueling your body to be able to do things. Because we're lucky if we can run around and,
mm,
go swimming and ride a bike and do all those things. And
yeah,
actually, we can be quite critical of ourselves, but our body, has enabled us to get here today and
yes,
to talk and to,
yeah. It's
and
pretty amazing, really.
exactly. So having gratitude for your body,
Yeah,
I think, can change that association that you have.
yeah. And do you think over the years your sense of that has changed and how you talk about yourself? Is that something
I
that's
think
changed
so
for you?
because I think it depends on messages given to you growing up. Because I think if you have been bullied or you've had critical comments, you almost become conditioned that, well, I can't be like that, I can't look like that, I've got to transform myself into someone else.
Yeah.
Whereas if you start to feel quite confident in yourself, and I think that's hard because unless you've got other people who are giving you alternate messages, how do you develop that self confidence?
Yeah.
It's really hard. So I think over time, the more comfortable you get with yourself and the more confident you are in, I'm me and I look like this and this is who I am, it does change, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah, and that idea of I'm me makes me think around like enhancements that people have, um, and it's funny because in a way we could say, the clothing that you wear to draw attention to or draw attention away
Mm.
or enhance
Yeah.
what you've got. Um, that I suppose is one level. We could say makeup is
Hmm.
another,
Yeah.
to enhance something, or when you're having a skin day that isn't
Mm.
on your
Yeah.
side,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
can go, right, I'm going to put some of this on. So there's that level, but then I suppose there's a whole different level around the more cosmetic
Mm.
enhancements that you
Mm.
can inject or
Yeah, and the
stuff you have done.
expectation
Yeah.
and young people thinking that's what the norm is. That's what, if I'm this age, this is what I've got to look like. So I've
Yes.
got to have those enhancements. And again, if you think about people that maybe do have those enhancements, and then you think back to what we're saying about this is me, do you look like you, or do you look
Yes.
like somebody that you think you should look like?
Yeah.
And do you want to look like that person, or is it because you feel like you should
Yeah,
again?
it's
So
a
it's
really weird thing. It's
yeah.
definitely something that I've noticed over the years
Mm.
that has got more and more popular. And there's this real, and I suppose this is for the parents or carers, this kind of the anti-aging
Mm.
thing of
Yeah.
it's it's not okay to look look your age,
Yeah, yeah.
and how you sit with that, and the things that you say about that. What message does that give
Mm.
to your children who are looking at you about what's okay when I'm
Yeah,
getting older and what's not?
yeah,
So how kindly you talk to yourself, or the things you might be doing
yeah.
to show whether aging feels okay or not okay, or what bits feel okay and not okay. So that I think there's been a massive movement towards more awareness of how age is spoken about, how wrinkles are spoken about, the
Mm,
whole Botox and filling
mm.
thing. How you make sense of that if you're a parent saying, "Oh, you're beautiful,"
Yeah.
and but I'm going to go and have all this done
Mm.
because I'm unhappy
Yeah.
in a way. And it's like, how do you make,
Yeah, because it then is that seen as a bit hypocritical,
yeah, how do you kind of make
so how
sense of
do
that?
you
Is
make
it hypocritical, or is it,
exactly.
I suppose I'm,
And what is that about for you? What's that about for them?
hmm,
I think the gratitude for your body, I think, is a really good one to
yes,
focus on.
yeah,
But also, like you said, like, why am I feeling like I should look different? If it's because you want to feel better within your body because
mhm,
it's better for your health, then obviously that's a good thing. But if it's because you feel this expectation to look like
yeah,
someone else, then that can kind of develop other emotions, can't it? That can
yeah.
become even more difficult.
Yeah, and a lot of women, and men can feel shame about their bodies.
Yeah.
And again, how you treat yourself and the things you say about yourself, you will be passing that on.
Yeah.
Then that's the really tricky thing.
Mm.
If you're someone who's talked about uh, your weight or anything regarding how you look in a derogatory
Mm.
way,
Yeah.
the message will be clearly there at
Mm.
home.
Yeah.
So I suppose I'd just encourage you to think kindly on yourself.
Yeah.
Remember what your body can do.
Mm.
Talk about physicality in the widest sense with your
Yeah.
children. Um,
And thinking about who you follow on social media as
yeah.
well. So if you're following people where the emphasis is on looking a certain way and
Mhm.
that's actually bringing about difficult emotions, maybe it's looking at other people you can follow that actually inspire you to be yourself, or it's
Yeah,
around self-love or self-compassion, because we know with algorithms what you look at, it will
yeah.
throw more at you.
Echo chamber.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
if you want to kind of be more compassionate to yourself, or to focus on, how you can appreciate yourself more, following those types of pages is
Mm.
probably going to be a bit more positive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also have noticed for a lot of young people, like skincare regimes seem to be going like crazy with
Yeah.
with how much
Yeah.
it's like uh, glass skin
Mm.
for 14-year-olds, 11-year-olds, all
Mm.
these different products that are
Yeah.
now seen as this is what we do.
Mm.
And actually, they probably don't need half of those things, probably
Yeah.
not helping their skin in any way. But there's that pressure to be doing
Yeah.
this, looking a certain way.
Mm. And that
Um,
culture, because I know, girls maybe late primary school, early
yes.
secondary, there's a lot of culture around face masks and looking after yourself.
Yes.
And actually, again, it's about balance, because is that self care? Is that about giving
Mm.
yourself time to, sit and be and to
Yeah.
appreciate
Something that
yourself?
you like doing.
Exactly. There's that balance, isn't there? If
Yeah.
and again, it's understanding your association with it.
Yes.
Because then if you're feeling like you need to do more, you've got to change the way you look, then that's actually where you might be struggling with your own compassion to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, like you're saying about the friendship pressure
Mm.
to do things, look a certain way, have the
Yeah.
latest this, be smaller, be bigger, be. So there's a really weird thing that I've seen happen where, to some degree, I see a movement for young people off them being very inclusive
Mm.
in them and being very accepting of everyone, which I think is wonderful.
Mm.
And then on the flip side of that, we've got this hypercritical bit.
Yeah.
And I think as a parent, it's really tricky to know what to do
Yeah.
with either of those sides, of both of those sides.
And I think it's monitoring, isn't it? What is maybe a sudden shift?
Yeah.
Because if your child has most of the time been quite compassionate to themselves, not really kind of been concerned, and then suddenly you notice a change in the way
Yes.
they're
Yeah,
talking,
yeah.
maybe how they're dressing, their behaviours. It's about addressing that, isn't it, in a compassionate way to try and understand what that's about.
Mm, yeah. The warning signs are things like overly checking
Mm.
things,
Yeah.
or um, particularly if you notice your child's um, habits with food, if that changes dramatically one way or another,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
restricting or overeating or um, over exercising or under exercise. I suppose
Yeah.
I would look for extremes.
Yeah.
If anything that your child is doing or saying is out of
Mm.
what would essentially be their
Yeah.
norm,
Yeah. And that's
then
kind of a
that's
bit.
a bit of a
Yeah.
warning sign for you to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and sometimes it's about continuously monitoring because we all
Yeah,
can go through these phases where we might think, I'm going to do this week, but it's noticing if it's a continuous thing,
yeah,
isn't it?
yeah. So if it's continuous, you
Mm.
kind of want to
Yeah.
go, right, I might need extra help. One of the things we were saying about where to find
Mm.
help if you're worried
Yeah.
about your child's body image and
Mm.
how that relates to their self-esteem as well.
Yeah. So Young
Um,
Minds is really good
yeah, I was
again.
like, that's such a good place to
Yeah.
start, isn't it?
Really good. And even like active kids, health for teens, there's lots of things on there,
Yeah.
which isn't just around physical health, but it's around emotional well-being, about
Mm.
self-esteem, self-compassion,
Y-
body image.
Yeah, yeah,
So all of those can be really helpful, even if it's just generally having conversations around it, but not targeted at a specific, one of your children necessarily.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And so as a parent, again, as always, we're saying be kind to
Mm.
yourself.
Yeah.
Have a moment of reflection of
Mm.
how do I talk about myself
Yeah.
and my body and my relationship with food
Yeah.
overall. So if you can have that bit of kind of awareness,
Yeah.
and how might that be affecting
Mm.
our culture at home and the kids? What
Yeah.
is it that they might be picking up on as okay, not okay, acceptable,
Yeah.
and unacceptable foods, and um, how you talk about yourself when you're uh, getting ready, and particularly as females, like how you might look, that can
Yeah.
it can,
It all plays a part, doesn't it?
yeah,
And just thinking
absolutely,
about like the language you use, but also how you compliment your children.
yes,
If they come down and they're, I don't know, you might compliment them.
yeah,
If they're in their pajamas, you might say you're really beautiful, or
mm,
it's just it's having that communication, isn't it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So keep the communication, have a bit of
Yeah.
reflection about your own
Yeah.
things that it might bring up,
Mm.
particularly around our view of ourselves, and
Yeah.
see how that's getting played out.
Yeah, and just also normalizing what we said right at the beginning, that it's natural for us sometimes to have a critical voice. So if we catch
Yes.
ourselves saying, I don't like my side profile, or I don't like the way I look today, it's okay to say, would I say that to somebody else? And if the
Yes,
answer's no, then we shouldn't say it to ourselves, should we?
absolutely. And on that note,
Yes.
time for a brew.
Yeah, time for a brew. Thank you for
Lovely to see
listening.
you.
And you.
See you soon,
See
everyone.
you soon. Bye.